Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And I've got one out here today that's definitely going to be a little bit interesting. And it's one that a number of you guys have commented that you wanted to see. And I absolutely agree with you. I wanted to test it as well because I really don't know how it's going to perform. It could be a little bit better or it could be just way worse than anything we've seen so far out of it. I don't really know. So for the load I've got out here today, I brought out some more of these, the B&P Magnum Turkey shells. These are a 12 gauge, 3-inch, 2-ounce load of lead 6s going about 1175, so they say. Problem with these loads is they claim to be a turkey load with 2 ounces of lead 6s, but they're using a target style wad in these shells, so they just don't pattern very well. I think they've got a little bit too much payload and definitely too small of a wad for this application, which typically leads us to get waterfowl looking patterns where the entire paper is just covered with shot without a really definite core or anything like that. So I'm curious what they're going to do through the setup I've got out here today. And speaking of that setup, it is my Remington 1187 Premier here. However, I put in this choke. This is a Carlson's heavyweight TSS turkey choke. It's a 640 constriction, so a lot tighter than your normal turkey choke here. A lot of you guys wanted to see how this really tight 640 would do with those very not so amazing performing turkey shells. So we're gonna test it and see here. I honestly don't think it's gonna make much of a difference, but we're gonna find out what they actually do today. So as for the test, everything is the same as usual. I have the turkey target set up at 40 yards. I also have the chronograph, so we'll see how close we get to the 1175 that's on the box. So let's get you guys a view of the target. I'll head up and take the shot. We'll glance at what kind of speed we have, and then we'll go down and see how well these things actually shot. I don't have the greatest of hopes for them today, but let's go over here and shoot them anyway and see what happens. Okay, so that shell gave us 1228 through the chrono. Remember, the box was claiming 1175. So we did see that and exceed that a little bit, but we're still not moving way overly fast or anything like that. 1200 give or take is about average for what I would want. So I wouldn't say there's anything out of the ordinary here. But how did they actually perform? Let's go down to 40 yards and see. Alright, so now we're down range at our 40-yard target, and this is what we got. And before anything here, he is a dead turkey. There is one that clipped the brain and a few more down the spine. So we would have had a dead bird here. However, just look at this paper here. That would be an unbelievable waterfowl pattern if it weren't for lead 6s anyway. But that is a terrible, terrible turkey pattern. You have shot covering every square inch of this paper. I mean, it's from one corner to the other, top to bottom, it doesn't matter. There's no core area to it at all. So this is about what we've seen and about what we've come to expect really out of these B&P Magnum turkey shells. Will it do the job to 40 yards and take you a turkey? Yeah, most likely. However, you may kill 2 or 3 more that are in the vicinity of him as well. So definitely not what I would call a good turkey pattern, or even really a turkey pattern at all. So on this one, the 640 definitely did not help these shells at all. I don't know if it made it necessarily worse than what we've seen before, but it definitely didn't make it better, I can tell you that. So on one hand, it's a disappointment. On the other hand, it's exactly what I expected, to be honest with you. Just not looking too great for those shells. I just think it's too much of a payload in the wrong wad, and it just doesn't work. Okay, and this is the wad out of that shell. And as you can see right off the bat, I mean, it is a very short target style wad. There's no question about that. Just completely the wrong style wad for what this shell should be using. On top of that, we did have one of these petals almost rip off, but I mean, 640 and a 2-ounce payload going through that tight of a choke, that's not entirely unexpected on this one. But other than that, there's obviously nothing down in there, no other rips or tears besides just this one petal here. So it looks honestly about the same as when we put it through any of the other chokes. It's just clearly the wrong wad, too much payload. It's just not going to work out for these shells. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that pattern? I mean, would you have had a dead turkey? Yes, but I mean, you would have had so many pellets in the meat of that bird, and if there was any other birds even close to them, you probably would have got them too. So definitely not looking too great here for these loads. That's kind of what I figured coming into this. Being that 640 and what is known to be a not so great turkey load, I didn't really think it was going to help it, but we never knew until we tried, so we had to bring it out here and see what would happen anyway. But what do you guys think about it? And is that about what you expected to happen out of these loads? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts about it. But either way, definitely just a not so great load here. It's not loaded properly. It's too much payload with the wrong wad. It's just not going to work all that great for a turkey pattern. But with that being said, we do have an Instagram now as well, where you can see some sneak peeks and things like that over there. I'll leave it in the description if you're interested. You can go over there and check that out if you want. But I've got some more testing to get done out here today for you guys, so I'm going to jump back to it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.